One of the things that I've learned with having a lot of online meetings and recording videos here in my home office is the need to have my space be as productive as possible. Not only because I want things to be quick and easy, but I need them to be efficient as well because I hate wasting time and getting frustrated trying to turn my equipment on or off. And my home office is very small, so there's not a lot of extra space and everything kind of has to be in its place or else my office gets very cluttered very quickly. And it gets difficult to reach things when you're in a cramped space. And when it comes to my desk setup here with my camera, my lighting, my computer monitor, my speakers, and my microphone for filming videos or having virtual meetings, I pretty much want everything set and ready at a moment's notice, but I don't need it powered on all the time. And I hate having to try to stand up and reach the back of a light to turn it off or bend down to turn on a fan. It just gets frustrating, and that can take me out of the moment, out of my flow, and out of my productivity. And I want to be able to just quickly make changes without unnecessary movements. So one of the very simple things I do here at my desk to accomplish this is to put a lot of my equipment on switches. And I mount those switches under the front lip of my desk so I can quickly get to any of them without moving from my chair. And I have two types depending on the type of wiring that the equipment comes equipped with. And it's really very simple. I have standard AC switches like these, or there's this style as well. And I have USB on-off switches like this one. It has a switch in the middle and just has USB plugs on the end instead of standard wall outlet plugs for any devices that come with USB plugs that can run off of standard 5-volt power bricks like this Apple power brick or USB power strips. So here at my home office desk, I have about 6 different switches, which you can't actually see from the front of the desk because I mount them up here under the lip of the desk to keep everything nice and clean. And it kind of makes me feel like, I don't know, James Bond or some sort of secret agent when I flip them, like it's a secret door or a silent alarm to call Batman. Anyway, on my left over here, I have 3 switches. One is for this little light over my monitor, so I can just light up my work area if I need to. One is for my key light, which as you can see is off. And I use this for videos and virtual calls. And the third is to power on or off my GH5. Guess I shouldn't do that while recording. Anyway, I just have a dummy battery power pack brick for my camera, which plugs into a standard power outlet. So I just put one of these switches on a short cable in between the wall and my camera to power on and off the camera very quickly with a switch instead of having to reach up to the camera and do it there. And right here above my keyboard tray is a switch which will turn my speakers and my Mackie Big Knob on and off. Be careful with trying to use switches with speakers like this, as it can really kind of pop the speakers with that on and off voltage. So be warned, it's much safer to just put them on something like a Furman power conditioner and just use the switch on the power conditioner to power on and off speakers. That's how I used to have it, but I was able to find a switch and run it through the Furman. So I'm basically turning the Furman power conditioner on and off with this switch, which alleviates some of the popping that I would get through the speakers. So be careful. And on my right, I have a USB switch for my little fan that sits down here. And I have another switch which can turn on and off my second overhead light right there. This Neewer 660. We'll kick it on and we'll turn it off because it's a little bright. And that light helps light my desk if I want to do like an overhead camera shot and need some more light down here. Jasmine is snoring. Jasmine is my cat. She's snoring kind of loudly. Is there a cat snoring noise reduction filter? She's loud. So in very short order, I can turn on my camera, my key light, turn off the light over my monitor because I don't want it accidentally lighting my face and providing, too much light or the wrong color. I can turn on and off my second overhead light if needed, and I can turn on and off the fan if needed, all from right here in my normal seated position. None of this having to stand up and turn equipment on or off, or having to reach way up and over my laptop to turn the camera on or off. I just stay here, click, 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 and I go from regular get work done mode to a virtual call or recording a video very quickly. And I also do this in my office at work. I have a couple of switches under the lip of my desk there, one for my light that I also use for video calls at work, and one for another small fan. And that switch is also mounted just below the desktop behind the front lip of my desk, but over the top of my keyboard tray for quick access. The standard AC type of switches are often called lamp switches or cord switches. You can get them at any home improvement store, of course, or your favorite online retailer. And I usually install these myself onto the cables I already own. They install on standard 2-wire power cable, much like you'd see on a lamp. That's why they're usually called lamp switches, and they're meant for lightweight applications like light bulbs, and usually you can run a maximum of about 6 amps or about 720 watts through these types of cables and switches, which is quite a lot more power than you'll probably need for things at your desk. But remember that these run off your standard wall outlet, so that's 120 volts. So keep that in mind and don't run too many things through them. Again, I just have like single items, so I can turn a single item on and off with these switches. And again, these are meant for use on standard lamp cord or power cable, generally up to about 18 gauge wire. And if you buy these switches separately like I do, they do require you to cut the cable you want to install the switch onto, and you have to wire it up inside, and you have to do it properly and safely because again, once wired up and put back together, you've got to plug the other end into the wall. And if you don't wire it up properly, it could give you a shock or just not be safe. So don't install these if you don't know what you're doing. However, and of course, they do make pre-assembled cables with switches already on them. I don't have one of these types, but I have one of these types, which you've probably seen, just the little turn knob style. I don't use these as much, it's just one I had lying around. I prefer the little switch style, reach up under, flick a switch, and be done with it. So pre-assembled switches may be a way to go. They do make cables like this with more just switch style switches on them. So give that a shot if you do not want to take the chance of wiring this up improperly. I just like installing mine myself because I can make the cables a custom length, so I can put the switch anywhere along the cable that I need and not have a bunch of extra slack. And of course, you could just use a power strip like this because they usually have an on-off switch right here on them, but that would turn all of the outlets on or off, of course, and I don't really ever need to turn off a group of items, so I just install my custom switches on the items that I want. So again, if you don't want to take the risk of possibly wiring these improperly, then just get some pre-made cables with switches already installed in them, or maybe go the power strip route. And again, the second type is that USB power switch like this one, and I use these on some items that are able to be powered from a 5-volt power brick, again, like the Apple bricks or any brand 5-volt power brick. For instance, this little fan that I have down here from Old Polar, it's a really, really quiet fan, and I can actually have it on and not notice it sometimes. Well, it comes with a USB-A connector on the end for power, so I just got a USB-A extension cable, ran the fan to my USB switch, then ran the extension cable to an available USB power outlet and mounted the USB power switch under the right side of my desk, right here. So now I can turn my USB fan on and off by reaching over here under the right side of my desk and just flipping the switch. This way I don't have to lean down and fiddle around in the dark and feel around the back of the side of the fan for the switch. I just leave the fan on the low setting, which is plenty for me, and then my USB switch just turns it on and off. So fairly simple, obviously. Switches are not new things. I just think most people don't use them at their desks like this, but it really streamlines what I need to do at both of my desks here at my home and at work. And they allow me to basically stay in one spot, turn things on and off without having to get up or hunch down to find things and turn things on or off. Just makes it easy, and I thought I'd share this little efficiency trick with you. I love it, and I feel like a secret agent. Later.